welcome to the live today. Oh, I'm gonna get out of my lip gloss. My lips be so chapped. Welcome. I missed my live Sunday and yesterday. Yesterday I was actually on the phone with my cousin, so we had a good old time on the phone yesterday. So I had to do some catching up. So I ended up not doing the live yesterday, y'all. I'm back today with a new start, new fresh, renewed, new direction. In the news. Let's talk about in the news. And what are your thoughts on everything that's happening in the news? As you're entering into the chat, go ahead and know who you are. Say your name, where you're from. If you are male, put a 1. If you're put a 2. That just lets me know who I'm talking to. And thank you for joining me in this chat. Click the like button just to get the chat going through the algorithm. My nose stay itchy. My skin be so dry. But in the news, I did a video yesterday about the plane crash that went down, Delta airline plane crash that injured 8 people. I'm just curious as to what are y'all thoughts. I did a post on my community board, just asking people what they thought about it, especially with so many, whether or not they're random, I'm not sure, but so many plane crashes that just keep happening. Do you think someone is actually tampering with the planes? You think it's just a freak accident, or you just don't really know what to think with everything that keep happening? I know this. It makes me, about you, but it makes me not want to get on the plane. Not now. They need to do a little bit more investigating for me. In my salvation, whom shall I fear? He's the strength of my life. Welcome everybody. Go and hit the like button for me. Thank you for joining me on this live. Don't be shy. Go ahead and announce yourself. Let me know who's here. I see you sitting there. I just don't know who you are. Introduce yourself. And tell me, what are your thoughts on what's going on here recently in the news? I still have I got my icy thing. I accidentally put this in there, froze on my ice. You are, sir. You even first know me? Hi, how you doing, me Job? I will tolerate and deal with the trolls on my videos, but not doing my lives. So you have a good one. How are you doing, me? I'm doing good. Hey, Lizzie, how you doing? I'm from the United States. Where are you from? Me, Joby. What does that mean, Joby? Is that a name or does it mean something? Hey, Cindy, how you doing? Shana? India. Okay. That's good, Miss Cindy. I'm glad to say that you're doing okay. Gina Kennedy. Hi, how you doing? Kalash? Nice. Nice to meet you. Thank y'all for joining me on my live and for talking to me. I really do appreciate it. And so where's everybody from? I know Joby, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, is from India. Okay, John. Okay, that'll be good for me. Easier for me to pronounce John. If you haven't clicked the like button, go ahead and click the like button for me. And welcome to the live. Do not mind if you'll put a 1, so that way I'll know that you're a male. I'll put a 2 if you're a female. Oh, okay. What is y'all thoughts on the plane crash that happened yesterday? Let me show my zipper down. Any thoughts on the? I'm talking about on the plane that flipped over in Toronto yesterday afternoon. Thank God nobody was hurt. I mean, people were hurt, but nobody was um severely hurt. There was one that I think was in critical condition, but so far as I know, everybody made it out alive. So thank glory be God for that. I watched a couple of videos last night with some actual pilots gave their um perspective on what happened, and one he had done said it. He was like, that was just his error, point blank period. He came in too hard. Hey Auntie, how are you? How you doing? I haven't talked to you in a minute. How's they going? Yes, John, how you doing? I don't know what you want me to answer, but if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I put videos up every day. Whether it be for YouTube, my skits that I do, um, helping other content creators. Oh, you on your lunch break? How long y'all get? Like 30 minutes or an hour? One hour. That's good. So, do you work from home or do you work at your job? I know a lot of people are still, or some people anyway, they were working from home. I know a lot of businesses are trying to make people come back. Oh, okay. It is 1:32 in the afternoon here. So what time is it there? Is it at night there? Because normally when I'm doing my lives at 6, they say it's in the morning. So it's like, is it middle of the night? Oh, you drive a forklift. That's good. Do you like working in a warehouse? Or I did a warehouse job once, and I couldn't do it for too long. My body didn't even let me do it. Mm, love it. And I did it back in. Ooh, it's been some years now. I want to say maybe about. It had to be about 17 years. 17 years ago that I did it. It's 11:55 p.m. Okay, yeah. I figured it was at night because normally when like I said, in the afternoon when I'm doing my lives, people from India are telling me it's in the morning, or they're saying good morning. They're trying to make me a floor lead, but don't want to up the pay. Right? It's always give you more responsibility if they can. They will definitely do that to you. I gotta go eat the rest of my bagel. I had a bagel this morning/afternoon because I got a late start myself. Bye. You have a good night, John. Oh wow. Yeah, you have to. I don't know what type of warehouse work you did, but I did warehouse work at Bacardi, which was I guess the alcohol place. And I don't know why I chose. I mean, I had fun. I had a lot. It was a lot of a good learning experience for me. But the fact that I do not drink, one, I had to get adjusted to the smell because it just smelled like straight alcohol all freaking day long. Then they had two warehouses. It was one that was a plant, and then it was the other one was where they stored stuff at. And originally I started at the plant, but when things got slow, they sent us to the warehouse. Um, and man, that warehouse, and I'm from Florida, and that thing's in Florida too. That warehouse used to get hot, depending on what the weather was outside. Like you have to be, yeah, you have to be able to endure whatever working at a warehouse. But Bacardi was one of those places that everybody, wanted to get with, because it's a good company actually. All right. But overall, far as how I always felt, like I'd rather be overheated and feel like I was constantly being drunk with the smell of the alcohol. And then they used to have us print out that stuff. Like when stuff got either too old or it got damaged, we had to pour it out into these large containers. So you got all these different smells. Then it was sometimes you had to be like a bottle closer. I mean, people actually do that with their hands. The stuff go through the conveyor, but a lot of that stuff they're doing, but with their own hand. The machine locks it in. But yeah, that ain't no joke. Um, but for the ones that did drink, now they used to give out a lot of alcohol for people, but it ain't do me no good. Alright. Ooh, I gotta slow up. So, what are y'all thoughts on the plane crash? Does anybody had any thoughts on that? What you cooking for dinner tonight? I took out some. I don't know if I'm gonna do like a chicken soup or am I gonna do something else? Maybe some type of stir fried chicken or something. I'm not really sure. With some homemade mashed potatoes, maybe, and either I'm gonna do chicken soup or I'm gonna do stir fried chicken with mashed potatoes. Not really sure. Still going. Yeah. Ooh, where you been, Bucky? Where you been, Buck? Yesterday a plane crash. It was during landing though. It was a plane that was coming in from Memphis. I mean, I keep saying Memphis, Minneapolis to uh, Toronto, Canada. And when they land, TMZ actually on my video. I actually have the footage from TMZ. TMZ, I don't know how they be getting they footage, but they actually had the footage of the plane coming in and caught the whole thing on camera. It looked like whoever gave them that footage, it came from the aviation building because the way it was aimed, it looked like it was coming straight from the aviation building. But anyway, the plane came in and one, he was coming in too fast. He was coming in too fast and too hard, and he hit the ground. He hit the runway really hard. And according to an eyewitness, when he hit, it went to. He said that he felt a hard hit. And from the footage, it hit hard. It hit hard. Soon as it hit, he said it went on its side. It slid on its side for a while. Then they heard two explosions. It flipped over. It lost the back of the plane and both wings. 18. It was 80 people on board. 18 people were injured. Right. He fired some more people yesterday after the accident. I don't know. I don't know if it's just a season. I know he fired a lot from the aviation department, the FAA, not just the pilots, the people that actually work at the air traffic control. A lot of people got let go after the incident. Um, but I don't know if that's gonna be any better. I mean, it seems to me that they need to upgrade their equipment that they got because according to Trump, he said they operating off of a lot of old equipment. But something is going. My personal opinion, I think something is going on because there's just way too many plane crashes that are happening every week. Like You very seldomly hear about a plane crash if it happened. Like now, it's like a weekly occurrence, multiple occurrences. It's getting out of control. So something has to give. They got to look a little bit deeper. Are these people? Are they scared? I mean, with all the firing going on, people might not be thinking correctly. That could be, playing a part in it too, not knowing whether or not they're going to have a job or not, not really doing things because they're nervous about what's going to happen with their income and stuff. I do believe that as well. That could be playing a part in it. But the thing is, they're putting a lot of people's lives at stake. Right. So I feel like something's going on. Personally, I think we might be under some type of attack that they're not letting us know. Because one minute you hear, like a couple of months ago, you heard about all these drones all over the place. Then it was you couldn't shoot the drones down. I mean, people were getting arrested by trying to shoot down drones because they didn't know if it was our drones or something else. Now, like a couple of weeks after that happened, planes start dropping out of the sky. And not just airline planes, military planes too. Like we're a military family. You don't hear of military planes dropping out of the sky like that. Matter of fact, the other day, not yesterday, but I think the day before yesterday, a fighter jet fell out. The pilots had to eject out of there before they hit the water. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Unless somebody hijacking their system or something. That's the only thing I can think of outside of we just being attacked. Something's attacking us in general. Um, hey, Arabella, anthrax in the mail, so it's just times of revelation. Everything is revealing itself exactly. It is definitely time of revelation, and you never lied about that. I guess it shouldn't come as a surprise. I think it's coming more as just a that we're actually the generation that is happening to. But it was definitely fulfilled already. Yeah. Next, we know what comes next. The control of money, and control of religion. Because about everything else done been attacked. I mean, literally everything else done been attacked. The only two things that's left to be with is religion and money. Right. I made a video today about that. About signs are all around us, and people are not recognizing the signs. It's like but in Revelation it says the God of this world shall cause a great delusion over all. So to the fact that even the very elite, God's own people, will not be able to recognize the truth, and that's what it just seems like. It seems like most of the world is being blinded and they don't really see what's going on right before their eyes. It's like I said, it's shocking, not surprising like, oh, I don't believe this is happening, but shocking is happening in our time. That's the only thing I'm saying. But I know what comes after this. So, and if you believe, you believe. You better get your sight. That's all I can say. Because I don't think it's gonna get any better. Me personally, I just don't think it's gonna get any better. Not at all. It's gonna be a steady decline until the end. Um, which make you feel like you better start a garden or something. But I guess we all better become vegetarians because at some point, we're not gonna be able to buy ourselves. So we better start growing our own foods while we can. Uh, yeah, like I said, it's I guess it's just shocking a little bit. Shocking, but not. Yeah, even down to the earth itself, a lot of stuff is happening. Even down where it's a lot of earthquakes and stuff been happening all over the world. And the thing about it is, all happening at the same time. It's not like it's one occurrence here and a couple months later another occurrence. All this stuff is happening at once, all around the world. Hmm. And the magnitude of it all, like the severity of what's happening all around the world is insane. Whom shall I take? I gotta research one of my small content creators on the highlight channel today. I think I got who I want to highlight for today. Yeah, but we gotta stay prayed up, stay prayed, keep believing in God, and whatever you do, if you don't believe nothing else, whatever you do, you better not accept that mark. I tell you that much. Because if you do that, it's a wrap for you. Do not accept the mark. Yeah, whew, Lord Jesus, the sign of the times. Let me go to home page. That's fake. Oh my God. Let's see what I want. I'm just curious to see how they're gonna put thought on this. They did a press conference this morning, a couple of minutes ago, about the plane crash in Toronto. Man, they're not like we are in America. Like they don't address their media at all. I mean, they wasn't answering these people questions or nothing. They just walked off. Mhm.
I thank each and every one of these heroes, every flight attendant and crew member on Delta Flight 4819. I also thank every flight attendant and crew member across the industry. Thank you for all that you do every day and every night in service of safe travel. In regards to the accident yesterday, at approximately 2:15 p.m., Delta Airlines Flight 4819 from Minneapolis to Toronto, operated by subsidiary Endeavour Air, was involved in a single aircraft accident upon landing at Toronto Pearson. The plane was carrying 4 crew and 76 passengers, among them 22 Canadians. Flight attendants, flight crews, and airport emergency workers and responders mounted a textbook response, reaching the site within minutes and quickly evacuating the passengers. At the time, there were 21 injured passengers, ranging from minor, critical, but not life-threatening injuries. A total of 19 passengers went to the local hospitals, with 2 more going to hospitals in the time period. At this time, Delta Airlines has reported that 19 of those passengers have been released and 2 remain hospitalized. Our thoughts go out to all of the passengers impacted and their families. We have taken great time and care to extend care to each of the passengers that were here after the accident. That includes comfort as well as support in their emotional well-being in the hours since the crash. We have completed the reunification process for all of the remaining passengers. We'll continue to care for them during this extended time. I will now give you more information about the operations at Pearson yesterday and what to expect in these ahead. From last Thursday to Sunday, Toronto Pearson saw extreme conditions, 2 separate snowstorms. On Thursday and Sunday, we got more than 20 inches, 50 centimeters of accumulated snow. That is actually not typical. In fact, it is more snow within a time window than we received in all of last winter. There were
So why
many
they didn't
delays and
cancel the flights?
cancellations across this part of
They shouldn't have let
Canada
nobody
and
land.
the U.S. Northeast during time, creating numerous flight delays and backlogs. At Toronto Pearson, 221 of 974 scheduled flights were canceled on Thursday. 75 of 1,012 scheduled flights were canceled on Friday. 128 of 937 scheduled flights were canceled on Saturday, and 371 of 987 scheduled flights were canceled on Sunday. Monday was a clear day, though, and it was an operational recovery day for Pearson, with 1,006 scheduled flights. The results yesterday, in due part to the accident, were 462 scheduled canceled and 544 flights operated. Let's now talk about the investigation and what to expect in the next few days as we pivot to this phase. Last night, 7 members of the Transportation Safety Board of Canada arrived at Toronto Pearson to begin the investigation. 13 more of those investigators arrived today. Members of the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration are also here on site participating in investigation. As it is a Mitsubishi aircraft, Mitsubishi will be on site as well, and Delta Airlines has sent their GO team who are already here on site. So what does this all mean for operations at Toronto Pearson today and in the days ahead? Our Emergency Operations Center does remain open, though operations on the runways resumed at 5 p.m. Eastern Time yesterday. We have been in recovery mode since resuming flights at 5 p.m. yesterday, catching up on delayed flights, and that continues into today as well. We are currently without use of our longest east-west and north-south runways. This and ongoing additional weather conditions today will affect how fast we recover operations, particularly with departure of aircraft. We do expect that the investigators on site will be reviewing the aircraft on its current configuration on the runway for the next 48 hours. And we are looking to get to support that investigation and the removal of that aircraft off the runway, at which point we can do our inspections and then turn that runway into service. Toronto Pearson will continue to provide you all with operational updates, but this is now an active investigation time, and you can expect to start hearing more from the investigating authorities about the accident that happened here. We expect that the Transportation Safety Board of Canada will be issuing a statement with more information around that later this afternoon. In closing, I thank the industry, the community, and all of our employees here and across the sector for all the work that they are doing to support this incident and those affected, and that they do every day. Air travel remains the safest form of transportation. We are proud of
That
that
is
record
questionable
here.
right now.
And at a time like these, we're very grateful and thankful of how the community and the industry comes together as one. Thank you.
We'll now take a few questions. Folks who maybe can come up to the mics if possible, or there's a mic in the audience. Okay.
Hi there, Alex Gabriello with News Nation. A question about the conditions yesterday. Obviously, you just explained the extent of the snowstorm.
Watching the update from the plane crash, they're addressing everybody. It's under investigation now.
Comment about what exactly it was like on the runway in terms of iciness or wind gusts. Last night we heard the fire chief say that he did not believe that they had a role in this crash at all. Is that still the theory here? And if so, do we have any developments on what caused the crash if it wasn't weather related?
Yeah, this would not be a time for us to have theory or to speculate on what the crash. So as I shared, we have a number of agencies that are here that are responsible for doing a thorough and full and complete investigation to determine all the causal factors. And we are looking forward to getting those results and to share those. And those will be shared very publicly once they are received.
And I understand that if you don't want to speculate about the crash, but can you tell us then what the condition of the runway was like at that time of the
Can't even answer that either.
Have your teams been able to determine that?
I look forward to sharing all of that information at the proper time.
So they're saying a bunch of nothing.
Those are all the details that are going to be covered during this investigation, and that is accurate.
Yes, New York Times. I have one question and a follow-up. Air traffic control handles CRJs differently than other aircraft and crosswinds?
The air traffic control is responsible now in Canada for all the aircraft activity here at Toronto Pearson and in the surrounding areas. Have to respond differently themselves as to how they manage those aircraft uniquely.
And how do you decide to pause operations because of wind, and who makes that decision?
That is a cross-collected decision that is made between NAV Canada and the pilots during live operations. We are not pausing operations. We do have a slowdown in the operations due to two of our routes being closed for operations at this time.
I just think they should close it until they figure out what's going on.
Delta TSB representatives on the stage with you right now. Are you able to speak to why they're not?
We've been very much in communication with all of those involved, all agencies, Delta Airlines and others. We've all had quite extensive communication in our EOC, our Emergency Operations Center. So the system and the response to the accident is working as planned and going quite well with our partners.
John Worrell with the Associated Press. Two questions. One is the people who remain in the hospital. Any timeline on how long they may remain?
I do not have that information.
Do you know what condition they're in?
What we do know is, again, 19 of those that were hospitalized are no longer hospitalized. The two that remain, none face life-threatening injuries from what we've been briefed and what Delta Airlines has released as well.
And just finally, Deborah, given what we saw from all the videos that are on social media, and I'm sure what you've seen internally, how is it remarkable that everyone was able to survive this incident?
There are so many factors that lead us to have to do today. Again, I cannot commend enough the crew, the flight attendants, pilots, and our emergency responders for their quick and effective response. It's really incredible, and when you see that aircraft, it just makes you really thankful for all the safety checks that go into running this one of the most safest air transportation systems.
Okay, we'll take questions now for the first responders, please.
Good morning, Momin Qureshi from 680 News Radio. My question really is, last check, the wreckage was still out there on the runway. I just wanted to know, how long that will be out there and what kind of impact that's having on service here at the airport.
Yeah, so as I shared, yes, that the remains of the aircraft will remain on the runway while the investigators are performing their reviews. We expect that could be about 48 hours. And so until that
They are not going to answer absolutely nothing. So they need nobody. I mean, they can answer questions all kind of ways, but they're not going to answer.
Passengers should be looking into their airlines, checking our website for information on delays and potential cancellations.
Yeah, I
as
don't
well
even
for the
want
next
to continue
several
watching this. They're not answering. They're literally are just pretty much denying everything.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So we are awake.
How did it happen? Investigators are still trying to figure out why Delta Airlines flight crashed, flipped upside down, and caught fire after landing Monday at Toronto's Pearson International Airport.
Everything, drop it. Come on.
Remarkably, all 80 people on board made it out alive. There were at least 18 people injured. Listen to this exchange between air traffic control and a medevac pilot just moments after impact.
Where's the crash? It's on runway 23, right at threshold, right at this intersection there, 23 and 15 left. Otherwise, flight 1 medevac, just so you are there, pull outside, walk around the aircraft there. Yeah, we've got it. The aircraft there's upside down and
When the plane came to rest, buckled passengers found themselves hanging upside down. At least one wing of the aircraft torn off, the plane on fire.
It was mass chaos. I was upside down. The lady next to me was upside down. We kind of let ourselves go and felt that hit the ceiling, which is surreal feeling. And then everybody was just like, get out, get out, get out.
We didn't really know anything was the matter, or at least I didn't until like the second we hit the ground. There was no like real indication of anything, and then we hit the ground and we were sideways, and then we were upside down, hanging like that.
Absolutely incredible. Let's bring in CNN transportation analyst Mary Sava. Mary, based on the footage and what we know so far, have you been able to draw any initial conclusions about what?
So right off the top, we begin in Canada, where you are seeing an empty podium. It will not be empty for very long. Officials there in Canada planning to give an update on a plane crash at Toronto International Airport. That Delta plane crash landed upside down yesterday afternoon.
CNN. I think it's CBS, but I guess people still. Right, Nancy. He around here firing everybody. That's what me and Buck was talking about earlier. Maybe it might be contributed to people just being fearful of losing their job and ain't doing stuff right. But did y'all watch that TMZ recording of the plane coming in? TMZ actually had the plane coming in.
Live right here on CBS News 24/7. In the meantime, CBS News Tom Hansen joins us live. Tom, what do we know so far, my friend?
Reed, I want to paint a picture for you for what some of these passengers were going through. One account from one passenger says he felt like he was hanging like a bat before he unbuckled his seatbelt and was able to get out of the plane. These were just terrifying, shocking moments leading up to the rescue from the crew and additionally first responders who were standing by to get people out of the plane safely. As you saw video, the moment that the plane started to essentially combust, that happened very quickly upon landing. And so now the questions are circulating as to just what caused that.
These people ain't answering nothing. But if you see that video, you can see it all for yourself. You ain't got to be no plane expert or not. That man came in too fast. Point blank period. He came in too fast. And the landing gear broke.
For the pilots. So, there are a lot of questions that were
and when he slid, and because of the snow being on there, the plane slid on its side, just like the people said, and then it flipped. Now they need to be looking at why he came in fast. Is what they need to be looking at.
Scary experience for the people who are on board, Tom. I just have to ask. Usually when we do these stories, we say the NTSB or the National Transportation Safety Board is investigating, but
have like a malfunction of the plane or something, or just was pilot error. Because I listened to a whole bunch of pilots last night experienced pilots been pilots for 20 years, people who are still pilots, and they all said that was the pilot's error. It was his error in judgment coming in. He hit too hard.
In Toronto, so typically the NTSB would be
Not one pilot didn't say otherwise.
but
So
instead
it's crazy.
Canadian authorities that are taking the lead, NTSB running assistance on this, and no doubt they are going to be examining that footage, interviewing some of the survivor.
Now all of them said they were shocked that the plane flipped over the way it did. So they was like they still trying to understand why it did that. But as far as that landing, when they saw that footage of the landing, they all said he came in way too fast, and he hit the runway. He hit it hard. So now what the video doesn't show is what caused the landing gear, the wheel, not to make contact, because it literally looks like you see the wheel coming in, but something happened between him coming in and him hitting the runway. What they said, whether it's the speed that he came in at, whether he caught a wind gust at the same time, like two things might have happened. And they said he could have very well just, if he had an opportunity to pull the plane back up, if he realized he was coming in that fast, what he probably should have did was pull the plane back up. So I think this is going to boil down to pilot error, unless they can prove it was a malfunction.
Yeah, well, it's incredibly understandable given the news cycle that anyone would have a little bit of pause. I have to say, Reed, even boarding a flight from New York City to Buffalo in order to drive here to Toronto, I had a little bit of that concern and that anxiety taking off. But, you know, every expert that we've spoken to has doubled down on the fact that statistically speaking, taking a commercial plane is far safer than hopping a car and going
Man,
on
please.
your
That's what y'all say. But if that plane fall out that sky, or if it land wrong or take off wrong, their chances of survival is slim to none.
Safest, if not the safest mode of transportation, especially in the United States, Reed. But we have.
Oh, until I saw the video, I thought that he might have hit something coming in. Like a lot of airplanes and a lot of airports, they have gates and stuff around the airport. So I thought maybe he came in and clipped the gate or something and lost his landing gear. But he actually had his landing gear on when he made contact. Now, what happened between when that plane was coming in? All wheels were on that plane. What caused him to hit that runway that hard? That's the whole question. That's the question I'm looking for.
Our commitment to you is as soon as those.
But none of them ain't saying that.
So many families want, after this very scary situation happened, not the least of which, the two families who have family members who are in critical condition in hospitals, they especially want those answers. As soon as those officials give that update on the crash, we will go to it.
This is where Anne feels most comfortable. But when she started to feel uncomfortable, this is the MedStar Health Urgent Care team that stepped in and consulted with a specialist.
You gotta speculate. Just do your job and let us know what's going on.
Artery that could be unblocked with life-saving surgery.
If it's pilot error, then people will be a little bit more secure in getting on these planes and flying, versus if it's something else is going on. I'd rather y'all go ahead and say it's his error than to leave the narrative that maybe something else is happening with these planes, and either in the air or systematically, maybe somebody took over the system or something.
So right off the top, we begin in Canada. You are seeing an empty podium. It will not be empty for very long.
Is done right now to figure out what went wrong on an icy Toronto runway. And the New York City mayor hanging in the balance. What could come next after the DOJ asked the judge to dismiss his corruption case? And with Elon Musk's Doge handing out pink slips, we asked the voters if they are worried about feeling the impact of federal cuts. Then, can AI save the Great Barrier Reef, the high-tech approach to protecting an underwater gap?
The times that we are living in.
On this Tuesday, we just heard an update from officials in Canada. An investigation is underway to figure out how a Delta flight flipped upside down while landing at the Toronto International Airport. This happened yesterday afternoon. that flight was coming in from Minneapolis. Here's a look at the aftermath. That plane flipped on its back. All 8 people on that plane made it out alive, thankfully. Airport officials said moments in the area has seen an unusual amount of heavy snowfall in the week leading up to this incident. However, they stopped short of blaming the crash on the weather, as the investigation still needs to play out. Take a listen.
From last Thursday to Sunday, Toronto Pearson saw extreme conditions, 2 separate snowstorms. On Thursday and Sunday, we got more than 20 inches, 50 meters of accumulated snow. That is actually not typical. In fact, it is more snow within that time window than we received in all of winter. A total of 19 passengers went to the local hospitals, with 2 more going to hospitals in the time period after. At this time, Delta Airlines has reported that 19 of those passengers have been released and 2 remain hospitalized.
And footage here shows passengers getting off the plane as it's flipped upside down. And you can see airport emergency workers there. Some of them stepped in to help some of those people get out of the plane. CBS News correspondent Tom Hansen joins us live right now. Tom, I know you were listening to that press conference, and this is short notice for you, but what was your take from all of that, all that was said?
Yeah, well, Mugo, the $1 million question has yet to be answered, which is what the cause of the crash was. Was it mechanical? Was it weather related? Was it a miscommunication between the pilot and air traffic control? We still don't know the answer to that. The CEO, Deborah Flint, who you just heard from in that soundbite that you just played, she was rather tight-lipped about that. But what she did say was that for something that is in the category of worst-case scenarios, the first responders, the emergency response was certainly a best-case scenario. These are people who jumped into action on a moment's notice. They arrived on scene. They were highly trained, and she described their response as a textbook response. Now, what she said about the injuries and things of that sort, that was also asked of her and first responders. They went on to say that a lot of the injuries may not have been life-threatening, but they were sounding pretty serious. Some spinal sprains, head injuries, neck injuries, and that sort. But you can imagine if you're hanging upside down like a bat in this plane and you're trying to buckle, you're going to fall. Your head's going to hit the ground first. If you unbuckle, in any way other than the perfect way of landing on your feet. And so, this just goes to show, though, the quick response to get people out of harm's way, because another thing that we learned was that there was jet fuel all over the place that had leaked. And so, that's highly flammable, very dangerous, can be poisonous if breathed in for too long. And so to get people out of the aircraft in a timely manner was paramount in saving lives and getting people out of harm's way. So overarching, what we did learn today was that the first responders did their job. They performed valiantly. The other detail, of course, is the investigation will continue as long as the fuselage, at least, is on the tarmac. We anticipate that will not be cleared until Thursday at the earliest. And so those 2 long runways, the one that runs north to south, east to west, those 2 will remain closed while the aircraft is on the tarmac. Mugo.
And Tom, you talked about the physical injuries there, but I can.
Nobody is talking about the TMZ plane that was the footage that was released out. Not news outlet is talking about it. Other people are talking about it, but the news outlet or what, they're not even mentioning this footage, which is crazy.
It turns out if you live in Maryland, they have to give you solar panels for.
Yeah, that's another huge question, and that's one that even when posed with all the statistics, all the empirical evidence out there, that I had anxiety about hopping on a plane to come here to cover this story. But every effort that we've spoken to says that commercial flying is hands down the safe mode of travel, and that was echoed by the CEO. She mentioned that unequivocally, she made no bones about it. Commercial flying is safe. In spite of this slew of high-profile aircraft incidents that have made headlines in recent weeks. Mugo.
All right, Tom Hansen, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. Likely still a lot to come out. of this investigation. Let's go now to Ella Atkins, professor of aerospace and ocean engineering at Virginia. Ella, thank you so much for joining us. The first question is, how unusual is it for something like this to happen?
It's almost unheard of to have a plane land upside down with their gear in the air and have everyone out alive. That is remarkable, and I'm very happy to be saying that everyone lived to tell the stories of this in many years to come. In terms of having an accident on landing, while extremely unusual for a commercial transport aircraft to have an accident on landing, and I want to echo that flying today is safe, and no one should hesitate to go to the airport and catch the next flight. Landing is the most dangerous of flights. In this particular case, the aircraft appeared to have taken off normally, followed a normal flight route, communicated with air traffic control, and lined up perfectly with the runway. So everyone was very surprised when something happened.
Yeah, and I had no idea how dangerous landing could be until you mentioned that. And I think I have to ask here, because we know the investigation is still ongoing as we speak, and we want to speculate, but we do see the snow out there in that video. We could also see, it looks like wind, too, just blowing snow. Do you think that may have contributed to this crash?
At this time, there's no reason to believe that the plane skidded because of snow on the runway. The runway was cleared and open. Other aircraft had not had trouble with it. So the plane appeared to touch on in a way that does not suggest the snow impeded its landing ability.
Okay. And do you think this incident could trigger any regulation changes in the future?
I don't think so. I think the main thing that we should be looking at here is that pilots always need to be vigilant every last second, especially landing, all the way until the plane comes to a stop. The winds always need to be taken into consideration. If there are any unusual circumstances, it's safer to go around, even though passengers may be alarmed by this notion of throttling up and going around and trying again. That gives you a chance to be more stable next time around. I think the third thing that I want to say here is that the CRJs are extremely safe airplanes, regardless of the fact that there were 2 incidents. There's no reason to.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me on this live. If you're still in here, I was still watching the updates for this plane crash. If you still are in the live, go ahead and hit the like button. As well, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel to stay in contact with me. Just get all the information that I'm putting out. Don't forget to turn your notification bell in order to be alerted of the up and coming videos or the videos that go out for the day. I do typically like to put out at least 3 or 4, sometimes a little bit more a day. You'll notice some change have been happening with my channel. Yeah, I'm still just so shocked over everything going on. I do wish everybody a blessed day. Enjoy your day today. Y'all know it goes so fast, so get out there and do whatever do whatever you can while you can. Just remember to stay safe, and stay prayed up. Whew. My people all over across the world. Nancy, you been watching our Country Wayne skits? I know I have been slacking on that. It just be so. They just seem like just one drama thing after the next on that darn Country Wayne. It's so draining sometimes. I have to back away from it. I watch it, but I have to back away from it because I'm not. It just be too much. It's just full of fools, really. Some of it don't even seem realistic. Like it's like they just throwing something to the wall. So at times I have to pull myself away from that. Too caught up in that mess. Even though it is a skit and it's not real. Yeah. It seems like they glamorize a lot of stuff, negative stuff, whether it's drug dealing, sexual immortal sins like cheating on your husband and your spouse. Nobody's faithful on there. It's just at some point, I really wish they turn it into a positive, a comedic. Make it funny, but keep it positive. Everything doesn't have to be so freaking negative. But it just seemed like they just want to keep it in a negative narrative. When you think it's getting ready to get positive, it go even deeper into the negative. Like, whoa. It's so dark, really. Um, just make you wonder, like, what are these people really going through that is making up these storylines? You got the pastor who acting like, and I know it happens, and no pastors be around here trying to talk to the women, but you got Pastor Chris who was so godly that done failed into temptations of looking on the eyes of another woman. I know he ain't blind, but just comments, inappropriate comments he was making. Um, you got Pastor Lewis who out here pursuing somebody else's woman while you're a pastor, but yet you're promoting. And I know people do it, they have sex before marriage and all, but you're promoting it as a pastor. It just seems so off. Like, at what point do we get anything good out of this? Like, and it's always the whole drug scene. Like, everybody, you know, and that's the part I hate, that it portrayed my hometown as, Jacksonville's my hometown. Um, but it seems like, and I know we got our fair issues, like a lot of bigger cities. We're the largest city in the United States, so I'm sure there is stuff happening within our city, but it does not have to be glorified all the time. It just seems like they're picking the most negative thing um, in order to highlight about our city, and there's just so much there that you could speak on that's um, it is good. You don't have to focus on the negative. Focus on we rebuilding our stadium. Like, a lot don't know that they're getting ready to redo our stadium for the football team. I believe like this year, after this past season, we won't have any for this next up and coming year because they're getting ready to do it. You get ready to build an aquarium up there. Just so much. Good that they could talk about or show with our city, that it doesn't always be freaking negative, you know? Um, yeah. But it's just life, right? Can't wait till I get back home. So, because my plans is once I get home, I'm gonna do some videos about my city, for around my city, Jacksonville, and showing the good parts of it, uh, and why you probably want to come. As a matter of fact, I probably title that "Why do you want to visit Jacksonville, Florida?" And then show our surrounding counties. Jacksonville and all the surrounding counties are beautiful, especially at night, y'all. If you go across, and I miss riding across the Dane Point Bridge at night, literally you can see the whole skyline. It's breathtaking. It really is. Going over to Fernandina, the beaches of Fernandina, off of Amelia Island, where a lot of people go at for vacations, weddings. That they have a beach where it's it's not like your typical beach, but it's more like it is a beach. They call it a beach, but it looks like a lake, but you can see the ocean from where you're at, and it's just, I mean, the scenery is just, it's amazing, y'all. But like I said, I'm going to when I back home, I'm gonna do a lot of videos on my city, so that way I could put some good positive energy out there about Jacksonville, because that darn country Wayne about to tell my city, about to make it look awful. But as always, be your brothers and sisters keeper. Keep God first. Thank y'all for spending your time here with me on my live, and